All right, so today we have my compadre, my brother from another mother, my fellow patriot, Ian O'Connor.
Salute.
So yeah, we got a lot of stuff on the dinner table today on the chopping block. But I mean, we can start wherever you want. Like,
I don't know. I like.
oh yeah, we need lights.
I feel like right now people need, like we were talking about, people need to get back into books and shit, dude. Like,
Yeah.
What happened to actually taking time out of your day to learn something? I mean,
Making sure.
people go back and forth fucking nonstop on Facebook and shit, arguing, and it's like, we just I gotta unplug sometimes, dude.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We've always been like on books, me and you. So I can relate to that for sure.
Shit, you're one of the few people I know that reads, bro. To be honest with you,
Me
it's like
too.
finding somebody like to trade books back and forth,
Yeah.
dude. Like, how many times have we traded fucking a book or something? You know, like
Millions.
I know at
No,
least
I'm
like
kidding.
at least a few, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Just knowledge in general, the books, and yeah, now we have audio books. Audio books are one thing that I know we've traded on and on.
maybe like it's more popular than I think. You know, I'd like to see how many people are actually on Audible or like using some of these, you know, other things. Like, what happened to like libraries, bro? Like, they're getting burned down now, but you know, fucking, I guess education isn't valued anymore, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the worst. Like, when I look at what's going on right now, fucking, the fact that we're like chasing old ideas that have been proven false, and nobody's like trying to create like new ones or get back to like what worked, like what made America special in the first place, you know? And it was
So it's like a mix of the old, not old, well, the principles. I don't want to say old because principles are principles. They're like timeless, right? They're like classic, you know?
it's like civilization. When you like think about growing up, it's like Rome failed, Greece failed, you know, like the rise and fall of empires, and it's like it's well documented shit. It's well documented, like many of the reasons. Like, we don't know everything, obviously, and history fucking seems to change every once in a while, but
Yeah.
you know, we know
his
what
story.
happened. Yeah, exactly.
His story, her story.
Whoever won, what was it saying?
Just like winning the war.
Whoever wins the war writes the history, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So that's the only thing, is like people aren't really talking about ideas anymore. People are just talking about their feelings. I'm so
Right.
upset over this, over that. It's like, you have a right to be upset, but like at the end of the day, like, what are you gonna do about it, you know?
True,
I feel
yeah.
like if you're educating yourself, learning about the economy, bro, like learning about just new things.
Being aware. Like, people like to throw that whole woke word around. I don't use it myself. I kind of like,
Bro, we're
like
living
it.
in an upside down world,
It's like
homie, where it's like the woke
yeah.
people are the fucking sleepers.
Well, it's like a commercialized word nowadays too, almost, and it's just like, I think woke means like being aware, like you were saying, like what's going on. You gotta educate. Like, nowadays we have the platforms, we can these open source, you know, basically, and we don't have to. There's no gatekeepers as far as the information goes. But that is one of our things right now. Is a problem is the media and how it's being used as a tool by certain groups or whatever.
It's the free flow of information, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like libraries were important back in the day because that's literally where you had to go to get new ideas. You literally have every library in the world in your fucking hand.
But now we live in the age of information, so like there's the manipulation of it. There's always what probably was, but I mean, that's kind of scary to think about. So
at least two sides of every story now, and like those,
Yeah.
that like reality is like what happened, but it's also like perceived, you know, like me and you can go to a party and have a completely different experience, and that's how like
True.
the way people are looking at life right now is like,
So
there's more than one side, you know?
So I know you're a philosophical being. We're a little political right now, but I mean, as far as, you know, people do experience life differently. So like that comes in, to me, it brings in like philosophy of like just different ways of living, and like maybe tolerating other people's opinions and views, or exchanging views and opinions.
not using
and
force to like, you know,
force, or like the cancel culture thing, just like when you don't agree with somebody, you automatically cancel them out as like from their intelligence to their just their you know, they're human beings, and especially in the United States, we all have a voice. Like, that's what like voting kind of is. It's a democracy.
That's
right?
what's so beautiful
like,
about living in a free society is that.
So people want everyone to just agree with them.
Yeah,
so it's like we live in a democracy. And everyone, it's what, one nation, indivisible under God, but with liberty and justice for all. So it's like that's for everybody. That was what we were built upon, like the melting pot of cultures and like bringing in different religions and allowing them
the acceptance of everything, the acceptance
and that's why
of new ideas.
The great country we are, I believe, is a big, huge part of it.
To me, it's the most important part. You know, you look at the Constitution, it's like, number one, freedom of speech. And so cancel culture goes against like the very fucking founding principle of our fucking country, bro.
Counterculture? You know? Oh, cancel culture.
Yeah, cancel culture is like, First Amendment says that you should be able to say what you want, you know, and not be canceled. Like, literally, that's what they're doing.
And kind of like what you're saying, it's like, what are you doing with your opinion? Like, we, especially nowadays, we have the tools to utilize, like the cell phone and all these different platforms where we can find these groups that we have the same voice with. So that's what, you know, it's like, I don't know, that's what we need to be doing is like,
well, we need to, I like thinking about like globalization, and I don't like the globalists, you know what I mean? I don't want a one world order. I think we do better in small communities. It's
like that's
we were talking about our neighbors, you know, and it's like how many people know their neighbors?
That's how humanity got to where we are, is in small communities and tribes.
That's how we thrive.
Like 150 people or less around there. After that, it becomes a little more chaotic.
150 what? Like
100 groups of 150 people, like a tribe. I forgot where I read that somewhere, but it was basically after that there's too many. Yeah, that's sustainable as a group of like a community that can live together. But then it's fractals, all right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's
it's like there's tribes.
Scalability.
I just think about like the Native Americans and the tribes, you know, and it's like when it would get too big, they would split off because they'd have to use different resources, you know. And like with the big cities, there's just not the place to be. And not only like right now, but just as far as sustainability, I mean, we do better in small groups where we're all, and it's like you're kind of more involved in it, you know everybody, so you care about them.
Right, right. That's what it comes down to. What I remember reading, I can't remember what book, but it was about like sociology and stuff, and like just how we evolved over time, humanity from like the hunter-gatherer situation to civilization, and agriculture had a big part to do with that as far as like settling down. Once we had agriculture going, we were settling down and we were claiming this property and we're claiming these animals. And anyways, like,
no, I can see that, because then you're just trying to be like established in one area, and that eventually, like, it's unfortunate that we use up our resources and kind of move on to the next, you know. So trying to set up like a permanent civilization, it hasn't been done, you know. Over the course of history, shit changes. You see the ruins of ancient cultures all the time, you know. And now we live in a different area, and it's like whatever they were doing there worked for a little while, but it didn't work forever.
But I think, like we were saying, we got to work in small groups, and we got to be able to be one thing, like you said, over a certain number of people, the familiarity within the group kind of dissipates a little bit. So like the smaller groups, you can work better when you're familiar with them, and so.
Yeah, it's like New York, you know. I bet you it's got the most people, right? But a lot of people probably feel super lonely there.
Yeah, know? So I think
they don't know. They don't. It's just it's gotten to be a faux pas to like say hello to your neighbor, like to everything right now is like breaking. That's what's cool about civilization. Pretty much, what's going on right now is that they're throwing like the old ideas that worked out, and now we're trying this new idea, this postmodern idea. That, you know, there is like truth is subjective. It's like facts are fucking facts.
Right.
Okay, like numbers are numbers. That's why I love numbers. You know, you study a system, you use numbers. Obviously, those can be conflated too, but you know, it's like people are literally saying that knowledge is a part of the white patriarchy, and like you know, learning like history is fucking being rewritten, and literally there is no truth. Like truth is subjective, right? So. That means that everything that we've built civilization on over the last couple thousand years, you know, 10,000 years, is being thrown out the window. And it's like everything has had to work the way it's worked for us to get to right now. You can't take the bottom, the bottom part of the pyramid off and then expect it to still stand. So we're gnawing away at the foundations of our civilization. It's like what happens when you take away, like, you know, when you take away a beam in the foundation, it falls over.
Yeah.
And they're actively fighting for that, and they don't understand that like fucking Antifa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers, bro. It's
Yeah.
like, get a grip, guys. Fucking get a job, get a
my
life.
question is, I don't really follow it too much. I think you follow it a little bit more. So I do have a question as far as like back to the media and them maybe magnifying certain situations bigger than they actually are and trying to push a certain agenda, and maybe we need to be aware of that as far as the media manipulation and how they're trying to throw gas into the flames of certain situations.
When you read an article, it's like, you know, CNN might tell you, you know, they might tell you like half truths, but you're not getting the full story. It's like sometimes the information that's left out of a story is just as important, if not more important, you know, to make the full picture. So if you're only getting 50% of the truth, like it's still, you're getting 50% of a lie.
Yeah, what was missing?
Well, now, like what was missing? So it's important, like, you know, I don't consider myself liberal, but I watch liberal media, you know, just to see what they're pumping out. And then I like, okay, let me switch on Fox and see what's going on over there. Even though I like rarely listen to like maybe Tucker Carlson,
media,
but I'm trying to get as full of a picture so I can make a decision for myself.
Even just to know what other people are being fed.
Exactly.
And what their idea of what's going on is. You gotta kind of watch that stupid bullshit to kind of know what other people are thinking in the world. So like, I mean, that's to me back to being woke and aware. It's like you can have your opinions and go against somebody, but I feel like being informed enough to relate to someone,
bro, being
like
cultured enough to just sit there and listen and literally try and like assume that they're telling you something that you haven't already heard. And if you listen, like Jordan Peterson mentions that, you know, like when you're talking with somebody, like listen to him genuinely, and like you actually can learn something from him. And if we do that to everybody, then we'll be able to like stand each other. You know,
it became so like polar.
Yeah, and like now, like politics was something that you weren't supposed to talk about because people have always been getting in fights over politics, you know. But we have to kind of try and find some common ground.
Yeah.
Like it's always been about that, you know.
And I think now more than ever, there's power to the people. Like now more than ever, based on just the connectivity of our lives these days, and like the information that's more open source and like available. But you're, like we said, we touched on it, you're right, like there's misinformation, there's leaving out certain information, so that is what we gotta be careful about. And
it's like how many, ABC, NBC, CNN, you know, MSNBC,
and then like follow the money though,
it's like
when it comes down to it, this world, it sucks, and I think a lot of the evil comes from it. I get it now, within the Bible it says, you know, money is the root of all evil.
I get it too, man.
I like, if you follow the money, a lot of this fucked up shit just comes down to like these fucked up people that have a lot of money and just are like, it's like a weird fucking
form these little groups, bro. And you're right, it is all about the money. It's like most people don't even know that the Federal Reserve is a private entity.
Bank, right?
You know, it's a private bank, and they're all the central banks around the world and the IMF, they're all controlled by the same families. Like they're all in a group. You know, Rothschilds are one. And
this has been for a while.
Yeah, right? For a long time, dude. They've always been working together. So we're literally fighting against like the richest, most powerful people, and they're controlling the narrative. They're all being paid. Like everybody,
said,
all those.
I think we're at a place in time where we're the power is to the people, and we have the most power, which is information.
We have the power to make it, to turn this into a beautiful paradise, and we also have the power to, you know, let the mob burn it down.
That's why we're here voicing our opinions, coming together, putting things together. I think that's very important. Just coming together and like trying to figure it out on a smaller level. We can't just leave it up to like the big presidents, the big cats that are, we gotta think global, work local.
It's like, as much as I hate to say it, like I would love if, you know, people on Antifa, if they would just actually like take the time to have a conversation, you know, a serious conversation where their ears are open and they're not just so angry.
So I think you can maybe relate though, because I feel like we kind of came from a similar like, you were kind of anti-government, right?
Hey, shut up. Yeah.
Guard dogs.
No,
America.
You're right. So that's what I'm saying. It's like I look at what's going on today, and I feel like I'm talking to like a 20-year-old me. Yeah, I see Antifa in myself.
So we're a little bit older, but we were kind of those guys in a way where we're like, yeah, fuck the government.
Yeah,
fuck
of
United
course.
States. They've done fucked up shit. But now we've come to that point and we've come to terms with it. But it's like, but we are America, so we can't bring down ourselves
No,
and talk
exactly.
shit about ourselves. We gotta like pick ourselves up from the bootstraps.
That's
and
what I'm
fucking
saying.
move on and
I'm
shit.
down to I talk to people all the time that don't agree necessarily with what I view, but it's like
But that's
I
what
can do
needs
it.
to
I can do
happen.
it like calmly and not want to kill somebody.
Yeah.
It's like why if somebody doesn't agree with you, going out there and smacking them is not the fucking answer. You know,
Well,
like
it
you
starts.
can't.
It starts with just how you talk to them and how you communicate
Exactly.
and relate to them.
Don't be a cunt,
So,
bro. You know, it's like
I think
let's-
you're
let's just
better
not
off.
be
You're better
cunts.
off like winning people over, just trying to relate to them on things that you are relatable and you can't relate to them.
You gotta ask the
that
right
are simple
questions,
human
dude.
things that make it understood that we are like similar. Like we
Yeah.
we have basic needs: food, shelter, water, fucking shit like that. You know.
Life's so easy.
So,
It's
like,
the easiest right now ever, and I
we
think
have
that's part of the problem though, because life's so easy. We don't
Yeah.
have a common struggle really.
Yeah.
You know, it's like dude,
Well,
diamonds are made up from pressure. So it's like
I kind of agree.
everybody
with
gets a
that.
trophy. It's like back in the day, if you won, you got a trophy. Yeah, that's cool. But once
Yeah,
they
no, I
started
agree with
changing the
that.
culture and our
I agree
values,
with that. I've started to see and more look at and analyze like what's been going on with like the narrative. I don't even like to say groups and like whatever like tags or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's been things going on in our culture where like masculinity has been looked at and demonized. Like they're trying to masculize fucking like just everybody really.
they're trying to make it bad
like,
to have certain male characteristics.
or yeah, the whole PC thing of political correctness. It's like they're trying to basically
Control what you
water
talk
us
about.
down
Yeah.
and take away that.
And then now they're controlling ideas. So now, like, if you say certain words,
But
you
then,
get in trouble.
And,
if you
and,
have
but then
certain
it makes
ideas
way
now.
it makes way for a whole lot of other weird shit, which is like the whole sexual transgender
Oh,
type of amorphology. Like who knows what is what? Like
Like, this is where they
it's like-
start lying to themselves, because right now it's like they're saying there's no gender differences,
Exactly,
right? It's like
that's-
boys are not girls.
no, that's,
Straight up.
exactly.
And I don't care what you say. Like,
And they're trying to
ask
make
a
it-
biologist. Go ask a biologist if human beings are completely the same. It's like we're coming out of a place, and this is what like communism, socialism is based on. They
Yeah.
want equality of outcome, and like the fact
Yeah.
is that certain people are more skilled than others, and they should be doing certain things. Okay. When you just try and throw a random person to do a job, it
Yeah.
doesn't get done right. And
Survival of the fittest,
that-
basically.
it
when
is,
comes
dude.
down
I mean,
to
these
it.
are like certain
and like
laws.
yeah, communism and socialism doesn't really promote like capitalism or
This
like
is my main
thriving and like competition, friendly competition. But
Yeah, my
see,
main
there's-
idea of this is that like we need to celebrate the individual, bro. Like celebrate all
Yeah.
our, because they want to say like they want to break everybody down into black, white.
Yeah.
You're a boy, like your
Yeah.
gender, what you identify as, and it's like yes. And if you keep going down, like Jordan Peterson mentions this too,
Yeah.
it's like we're all infinitely different, and we should be celebrating those differences, and not using this group think to try and demonize someone. It's like what happened to that?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that idea? What's wrong with being different and celebrating that? It's like, yeah, it makes you special. That's what makes you special.
Yeah, and that's what makes like what we're saying. Just America is like a melting pot of all these different cultures and all this like.
And that's why it's the
just from
best, dude. And that's
food
why I
to-
love it
to
so much, bro. Because we
music.
are so different. I'll turn my phone down, dude.
Me too. It's Pops.
Yeah.
Hey Pops, I'll call you back. All right, talking politics. Wish you were here. All right.
I love my pops too. I call them the same thing.
Pops.
Well, so this even ties into it too. It's like they want to destroy the nuclear family. Like that was on BLM's website, and I think I looked at it recently, and I think they took that part down. But that's something that I really like. When you look at the numbers, kids that come from 2-parent homes, like you can have a man and a man. You can have it takes like at least 2 adults.
Yeah.
To raise these little fuckers,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, straight up,
It's
they're
hard.
little assholes.
Yeah, it's hard.
Kids are right. You're a dad.
Yeah.
So
Single on my part, and then split.
at least you guys work
but,
together, though.
Yeah.
Like it's
But
still
I could
that's
say that
it
from
could be
even that it's hard.
Yeah.
There's like different households that have different, I don't know, principles or whatever. But
and it's hard on the kids too because like I know my parents were divorced. It's like I have to act one way when I'm around my dad, and I have to act like another way around my mom. Like we don't have like you don't have that consistency,
in
like,
a way, I
that
feel like
solid
it's kind of
foundation.
good too, though. I don't know.
Well,
Just
if it works, it depends on you guys making it work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for
You
the
guys
kid,
communicate
the kid to
fairly
kind of
well.
understand that like people live different ways. Like different households have different ways of living. So like over here it's different. Over there
That's
it's
what's cool
different.
about American culture is that we get a taste of a little bit of everything, and we can pick and choose the best aspects of that.
Yeah.
I think that's what made America special. Is like we're taking the best of this, the best ideas, the most talented people, and we're putting them all in one place. Like, how can we not win? Because we're tolerant, though. We're tolerant of these differences. As long as you present yourself in a non-violent way, like you're appreciated and accepted in our culture. At least you used to be,
So what do you think we could do to make America better, like as patriots?
I think just having patience and talking and not giving up, because I know that's hard for me. Like some days I'm just like, why do I even try, but I just go back to like I can't do it for everybody else. I got to do it for me first. If I'm not taking care of myself the best that I can, I have no business being out there telling other people how to live. So I just try and take care of myself and clean up my bedroom.
You're doing it. As soon as we got here, you're in your backyard doing some stuff, and we had to come give you a hand and fucking help you do your gardening and shit. So I think that's important. Like me, that's what I'm trying to push is like a little bit of sustainability and a self-reliance.
Dude, learning how to garden, like gardening has been such a big thing in my life because it gives you some like feeling of control. Like, and granted, I probably couldn't live off of that, but it gives me just a little bit of satisfaction knowing that I'm learning something that if society did fall apart, I might have a chance to take care of myself.
We've become so detached from it that it's just...
It's hard. Gardening's fucking hard, and people don't understand this. Like, we all need food to eat, right? To live, and it's like we don't appreciate our society and what it really takes to keep this thing running. I think we take it for granted. We really do. We don't know where food comes from. They think food just magically shows up in a store, and it's like it doesn't. Somebody's got to bust their ass.
Yeah.
And it's like if that guy makes a little bit more because he figured it out a little bit better and he's put his time and effort, then okay, he deserves that. Like we're mad at everybody that's got money, and it's like they provided some type of value to get that money.
Yeah.
They did something to get that. Now, whether they used nefarious means, okay, but that's not all of them, dude. You can't just say every rich person got their money by...
Well, farmers aren't typically rich.
And they're not rich, bro. They have the hardest lives.
They're actually typically poor.
Yeah. We know. Being two of them.
But yeah, I think we've become really far removed from that aspect of life. That's like we were saying, it's pretty much a known fact that agriculture pretty much was allowed civilization to happen before. We were more nomadic and we were more hunter-gatherers. When we started getting into agriculture as a humans,
well, that allowed the population to start exploding.
That too, yeah, they did, yeah.
Because it's like having a good gardener on your hands is important to society, right?
And then you wanted to bang out kids to help take care of the land too.
Dude,
also,
that's why I want
and
kids,
the survival rate was low, so like you have a bunch and you hope for the best.
I keep telling Trinity that all the time. I'm like, babe, I need some kids so I can give them some scissors and get them out there helping me out, man.
I mean, mine's about to be 12. I mean, she's pretty self-sufficient. She helps me out.
She loves it too. Doesn't she like gardening though?
Yeah.
It's like, and isn't that it's like a skill that, it brings me such joy, like growing plants and having them look healthy and everything. And it's like,
yeah, it's fun watching
Trinity
them grow.
gets all sad when her plants die. It's like, well, you don't pay attention to them as much as I do. So, that's why your plants die and my plants live. Because I know it's 110 out there right now, and I better pull them in the fucking shade. And you go at 8 o'clock at night. It was hot today. I'm like, you checked your plant? It's like it takes a little bit of forethought. I think that's what makes humans different than most other animals as well, is that we have foresight. So we have a vision that we can plan, and like planting a garden takes that vision, the same vision that you need.
And it's hope too. That's like a quote, one that kind of sticks out in my head is like, planting seeds is like hope for the future or hope for
Because you don't know
tomorrow
if it's
or
gonna
something
sprout
like
or whatnot, you know?
that. Yeah, and it's like something to look forward to, and then you watch it grow every day, and like you're taking care of it, but like it somehow reciprocates back. Like when you see it happy, you feel good
You
too,
do.
like you said.
Fuck
So
yeah.
like there's kind of a weird reciprocal relationship in there.
I think it's impossible to be happy around a bunch of sad plants and like vice versa. It's hard to be super sad when you're around a bunch of happy plants, you know? It makes you
And
feel good. Being like they started to bring plants into offices to pick
yeah,
up to boost morale. Like
yeah, for
they're a
sure.
living thing too, you know?
I
So
mean,
they're giving us something.
even just the gases we exchange is like you could break it down to
We
simple
need
science.
each other. We
like,
literally like need each other. Well, we
yeah.
at least need them. I don't know if they need us.
And I'm
but
digging your backyard sitch you got going on, cause
yeah,
like you know, we do indoors, we do gardens outside,
yeah.
we do what we're
That's
gardeners.
why
we're
you gotta know your
farmers.
neighbors, bro. Because it's like I don't want them calling the fucking cops, even though it's legal. Like when you're in California, we get 6 plants, so it's
Yeah.
like, you know, my mom comes over, she's like, "Why are you growing weed again?" And it's like, "Cause that's money, mom. Like money literally grows on fucking trees. Like you grow them 9 foot tall, man. You're gonna fucking get some money on it."
Yeah, you
But
got some big boys back, or some
big
hefty
girls,
ladies.
some hefty.
some
I like them
heifers.
big, baby.
Yeah, they
I
need
mean,
loving too.
if you were to think about it, like if I just did 6 plants a year and had that was it, you know, I just had a summer harvest
You'd be straight to smoke yourself
for ever,
and you can trade,
almost.
because that's the thing, like that's what I want to get into, like helping people get their six down, dude, and have good dope, and then they have their 6 strains, and this neighbor has this. I want to go back to that. I have this idea of like back in the 40s or 30s where like it was like Andy fucking, what's it called, Andy Griffith show type of shit.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like fucking
That would be
fucking whistling
nice.
and shit and going fishing and shit, but like where neighbors are trading
Uh-huh.
type. I don't know if that came from my mom's side or both my sides of my family, but like that's
think-
kind of what we do. Like we trade, like if we have an abundance of this. I grew up kind of like that, but we just give an abundance of the harvest that we have.
I
So
think
basically, back to
gardening
the
right now-
weed though. Back to the weed. Let
Yeah.
me get this out. The weed thing. It's like if we get to 6, and then we help them out with the clones and stuff. Everyone could share. It's like Thanksgiving almost, because that's harvest time. You think about Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
I always like to think about weed too, but
Well, that's
it's
when
harvest season.
We always, at the end of the summer months, you know, it always
You're-
dry up, and then as soon as like, well, I remember like as soon as Thanksgiving hit, here comes all this new fucking the new crops in, you know.
Yeah, but it's like back to like just freedom and like self-sufficiency and like just
That's
even
been- I don't
even
know
the,
why
even
that's
the
been a
history
goal of
of
mine.
our country was like had a lot to do with hemp. Like our history was founded
yeah.
on agriculture. That's why we brought slaves to this country to use the land, exploit the land, and you know it's like fucked up, but that's the truth. And,
It is the truth, and you know, our history isn't perfect by any means, but no country's history is perfect. Like every single race of people has been a slave at one point in time. Like I'm Irish, right? And fucking the Irish were indentured servitudes to the British. Like we were probably some of the first slaves like in America in the first place. You know, you call it indentured servitude, but if you don't have your freedom, I mean, it's pretty much slavery, right? So I think if everybody had like a honest outlook on the history of slavery, I think people would realize that it's something that every single race and religion or person's has gone through. Their family's gone through at some point in time.
yeah.
So now whether we're doing it the best over here, it's like we have freedom. Everybody has the right to live free right now. And it's like after the 60s, went through that cultural revolution a little bit, right? And so ever since then, we've pretty much had equal opportunity to do whatever we want to do. There hasn't been a whole lot of, you know, I don't think there's like a big racist problem or racism is definitely a thing. I just don't think it's as big a deal that they make it out to be. Like in 2011, the New York Times, they were about to go bankrupt, and then they started using all this race baiting language, you know, and it's like I really feel like the mainstream media has sparked up.
I think it's been definitely sparked up, like you're saying. I think BLM, we had on our last show, we had my boy Nick on, and we talked a little bit about it. And like, it's just becoming kind of like, I don't know, I can't say clear, but it's just becoming more to me like I'm convincing like the BLM movement is bullshit and it's like been hijacked.
That was the same. You took that word right out of my head. Hijack,
the
bro.
sentiment behind it, the whole name of it was fucking marketing, like genius to me. Like,
yeah.
Because how do you argue against the movement? So you gotta use.
Doesn't the money
you gotta
that
be
gets donated
careful
to
what
BLM
kind of
go to the
verbiage
Democrats?
you're using, like, and terminology you're using. So when you say Black Lives Movement, like Black Lives Matter, you know, like who wants to argue against that? Like,
No,
there's very
exactly.
few people that do. Like,
but it's
racism,
like, did they ever not
I think
matter?
there's degrees of racism, like, but yeah, some people are subconsciously maybe slightly racist and look at a certain group of people this way for whatever reason.
I honestly think that's
do we have a
nature,
major problem with like KKK nowadays? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't see him out there, do you? Not since the like 50s with Margaret Sanger and Hillary, you know, fucking Hillary, bro.
Yeah, but so I think it's been, I think it sounds real crazy and fucked up to say, but like it's divisive, a movement. And so the organization itself is, I think, different from the movement. The movement has the sentiment behind it, like, oh yeah, like
if you want to bring people together to strive and succeed, cool. Like Black Lives Matter is trying to destroy shit.
So
Black Lives Movement is something where you're trying to cultivate that.
What do you know, like, factual about Black Lives Matter that you could like help educate people? Like, it was funded, ran by, who is it ran by? George Soros, right?
Was like one of the main funders of it, you know, and he's like the most evil, rich, white Jew guy that's around, that's ever lived.
He's
probably
basically stated, like, saying he doesn't care about what happens with certain things. Like,
well, they're globalists, bro. They don't give a fuck about America, bro. They don't give a fuck about their neighborhood. They're just trying to make more money, and I don't know, like, it's like, you made your money in America. Why do you hate it so much? Like,
they don't care, though. That's the point. It doesn't matter as long as they're making money. So back to just like, yeah, George Soros, like, obviously he doesn't care, and he's a major funder behind it, right? Black Lives Matter.
To initially set it up, yes. I mean, I believe so. Everyone wants to call it a fucking conspiracy theory. So every time you bring that up, it's
so there's
like,
no factual evidence behind it?
Yeah, because he funded these companies, and it's like these companies are the ones that donate to it. So you won't literally find like a check from, I won't say George Soros to BLM, but it's like he sets up this foundation, you know, and then that foundation fucking is the one that donates. So it creates like a degree of separation.
So
like plausible deniability. So yeah.
Can we check like how much money they have, like what they're worth?
Yeah,
like,
you can. I believe it goes straight to the Democratic National Convention. Like, it goes to the DNC, bro.
Really?
When you donate to Black Lives Matter, it literally goes to the Democrat Party.
Okay, so what do you know about that as far as like the DNC and the black vote?
Oh my
and
goodness.
Like, because as far as I know, they kind of bought the black vote. I think the blacks actually helped
first of all,
begin the Republican Party back in the day. Most Democrats, people were Republican. Most blacks were Republicans before a certain time, and then at one time they basically kind of bought a lot of the black votes that the Democratic Party did.
The Democrats
were
the
40s or 50s or
people don't know that the Democrats were
and the Democrats created the KKK too.
Yeah, during the Civil War, right? The Democrats were the party of the South, so they literally fought for slavery.
Right.
Right, and it's been like that. The Ku Klux Klan, they're a bunch of Democrats as well, and then somehow in the fucking 60s, all of a sudden, they just changed and they got rid of the Jim Crow laws and all that good stuff. But it's like, yeah, the history of America, like,
but I
Republicans
feel like they figured out a different way to just
market it, though.
Right, and keep oppression over. So so like racism, that's a tough one. That's a touchy fucking subject. But
but it's like,
I think
on the
there
Republican
is
side,
systematic racism, and I think there is. I think it was an easy switch over from slavery to just the prison industrial complex and like the drug war and like a lot of different things. It's easy to talk. Like you said, you're Irish descent. I have Irish descent too. Yeah. I don't know if we were indentured slaves in America or whatever the case was.
They were, yeah. They were.
I don't know if my family was, but
I don't think that my family literally came over on a fucking slave ship. You know, they came over like in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's like the history of people. At some point, it's like everybody's race of people was like that.
Yeah.
The Republicans, dude, nowadays, like, well, not even nowadays. Republicans have always stood for the Constitution, and it's like, here, this is like our rules to live by. It's like the constrained vision and Thomas Sowell's words, and the unconstrained vision. The constrained vision is like, we are all like, we all have our faults, right? And we're just trying to, with the rule of law, we're just trying to like take all the like restraints off of people and let them live free and see what happens. It's like in the unconstrained vision, like the Democrats, they think that they have like, they're like the smartest fucking, they're gonna legislate.
Well, what I've noticed
they want to
is
legislate
they're
equality.
very ideological or whatever. It's like ideologies, but ideology is not practical. It's not practicality. So it's like
It's a belief system.
So like back to like what we were saying before, like just like I was kind of anti-government. I'm still apolitical kind of, but it's hard not to be right now in today's climate, political climate, and just world climate in general. But and I guess just my age, I'm getting older and shit, so I'm getting more involved in it. But I try to stay more of an observer and like just try to analyze shit and not be sucked in on either side really. So
Yeah,
I
that's
hate
tough
to
to
like,
do, huh?
but I'm not gonna lie, I am leaning more towards the Republican side. My dad, he always grew up, so my dad's got a crazy story, but like he came from a different, different faraway land, you know what I'm saying? But faraway land many moons ago. But
dude, I remember meeting your dad. I love your dad, dude.
I remember me and Tyler, we were chopping it up. Like Tyler met him, and he told us a story how he got here. It was fucking crazy.
Really?
Like he snuck here on a plane and shit.
Oh, it was on a plane?
Yeah.
Didn't a lot of them come over on fucked up
boats and shit? Yeah. Like his story was crazy though. We'll get into that one day. But he came and he learned about America. To get your green card, you have to learn about America. You have to learn history. You have to go. And when you get your green card, you probably know more about America than any fucking American citizen ever. And my dad loved politics just because he was affected by it from Vietnam politics. And then he ended up over here in the war as a war refugee. And like it just was like a whole different world for him.
In some ways, first generation Americans are like the truest Americans. The ones that love it, like that know the history of it.
I have a certain relationship with like the first, like I don't know, it's weird.
Because they love the idea, like what America sells around the world is the idea of freedom. And when you come from a country where you're not free, and like you finally come over here, bro, and you're just like, wow. Dude, everybody I've met from overseas fucking loves our country.
That's why like my country, my uncle kind of talks shit on us because me and my cousin specifically, because he's like, I would have made it back in the, like if I had your opportunities and shit. No, out here he's like, he knows he's been through that side and over here, but he's just like, you guys haven't really done shit.
I agree.
Like, but I don't think he understands
because we've had it so easy, bro. When they come from a place where there's literally like third world country and you don't have a chance.
Back to like that, like when my pops came here, he was doing really good. He established himself really well, and then shit went bad. But like back then, it was easier to just have a normal job and buy a house and a car and have that. Now you can't do that. You gotta have like.
You want to get down to like the core of all of that? It's like. Democrats have started taking over since the fucking 60s and 70s, right?
Yeah, back to that.
All this taxes, they're trying to like tax their way to equality and pretty much bring us all down. How do you make people equal? Give them all fucking nothing.
They're buying. That's why it's kind of scary because it's like kind of looks like communism/socialism to me in a way because they're basically buying votes, saying like, oh, we're looking out for you guys, helping you guys in this situation. And that situation.
That's why they
really, like you said, it doesn't create a strong person that's able to strive and thrive for better and actually go and have, like be strong and have a strong character.
Well, that's their game plan, bro.
They don't want people that just have free shit. So they're buying out votes, basically, what it comes down to. They're buying votes.
They're buying votes, and they're saying we're going to take this money from the rich people and we're going to give it all to the oppressed people. So that's why they care about the LGBTQ black. Not white, obviously, fucking everybody else except for white people. Like, that's what the Democratic Party pretty much says. And then they still get, like, the rich,
I think what
liberal.
It comes down to is they're trying to buy all their votes. They're trying to make them feel like they are accepted and, like, they're looked after and, like, so they're trying to get all the minorities.
Yeah, exactly. But they also have, like, the college-educated fucking, you know.
But they're not. They're idealistic and ideological.
There are
whatever.
teachers in our schools, you know, like this is what scares me.
I know them personally. I know
Yes.
some that I've been in like little Facebook quarrel battles with, and I'm like, I know you, and I know you mean well, but it's not practical. Like you trying to stick up for whatever group, or and like saying this is wrong, and like this person demonize other people. Like I'm an observer, and I'm a practical person where I look at things for what they are, not under a filter of. I do have that filter too of what I wish things were, but like I try to as much as possible remove myself from that and look at things objectively and just see it for what it is and be real about it, because that's the only way you can really move on from a situation. You can't pretend like it's something that you wish it was.
You have to just take an honest look at yourself, and it's like what we were talking, you know, it's like I wish I didn't procrastinate as much as I do.
Yeah, you gotta.
I wish I, you know, fucking was a little bit more clean, like order, you know, orderly. It's like, so I know that if I had these qualities, because I know my other great qualities, you know, like I love learning. That's one of the things that I appreciate about myself, is just like wanting to just know more. I just want to like learn a little bit more than I did yesterday, you know, and then I want to try and apply that more, you know. So if we all just came from a similar like understanding, that I know I'm not perfect though either, you know, like I have my faults.
That's super important though, because you have people that want to be spoon-fed information, but so they're not going out and filtering through the information. They're just being spoon-fed.
Exactly.
Like, and so you go out, you wanting to educate yourself and gain more knowledge.
To understand that I'm ignorant, you know, it's like the more you know, the more you know you don't know. So it's like knowing that I don't know a bunch of shit, I'm like humble.
And you're
you know?
constantly reshaping your views and learning new things. Like, oh, you learned something new, so yesterday your old view is kind of outdated maybe, or
I
whatever.
love being proved wrong. When I get proved wrong, you know, it makes me fucking better, it makes me smarter.
That's one thing I think.
It's like accepting that and like, okay, I wasn't right about that. Now I'm a little bit better than I was yesterday. It's like, and that's okay. Getting your feelings hurt when you're wrong is something that we got to get over. Like being wrong isn't such a bad thing if you're willing to admit it and then move on. You know, that's what forgiveness is all about, right?
People have that emotional attachment to their ideology and the way they see things, or their
ideology is their belief system.
That they don't want to change it. Even when they see that they're wrong, they could see the facts and they'll still like find a way to like rationalize in their brain.
It's like seeing Santa Claus as your dad and then still believing in fucking Santa Claus.
Exactly. So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with,
bro.
Like,
we're dealing with a bunch of fucking
insanity.
6-year-olds.
It's almost insanity, but
literally, bro, they act like fucking adolescent fucking kids, bro. Like maybe like you know what, like a 15-year-old teenage girl, bro. I feel like that's like what Antifa is, dude. It's arguing with those people, dog. Like, no, I want my fucking freedoms, but I'm gonna take yours. Like, what the fuck? Like, when you listen to them fucking call black cops fucking N-word and shit like that, it's like,
oh, I know.
How are you gonna how you're
like the white folks?
So you might be a part of BLM, bro, and be like, you know, nonviolent and all for the fucking Black Lives Matter like movement, but it's like straight up, this is what a part of your group is doing, and if you're not gonna openly call them out on that, like, then that's reflected in you too. So it's like, don't let them get away with this shit. If you really love Black Lives Matter, then you should tell them that they're fucking ignorant when they're being ignorant.
Yeah. Well, I see a lot of so that's what's tricky. They use really smart marketing genius shit on that. Like, it's so hard to say like, you don't agree with Black Lives Matter? They try to throw that at you, and it's like, what the fuck?
You know the type of person, if you're dealing with that type of person, because they say all the same words all the time.
But I know black people, like,
it's like they're on a tape recorder.
I'm pro-black. I love black people. I have black family, I always had since I could remember, like, and like, I just love black people. Like, I have good friends that happen to be black. I love everybody. So like, I have family that's Mexican, white, like white as snow. My mom's white as snow from like from Wisconsin, blonde hair and blue eyes.
Well, it's like I grew up in San Bernardino, bro, getting picked by everybody, right? Because I was one of the few white people there. But I still had a black homie, I still had a fucking Mexican homie, and I had a Vietnamese homie too. It's like people are people. Like, okay, I grew up in an area that picked on white people, right? Where, you know, black and Mexicans would pick on me, mostly blacks, dude. I had to deal with black girls. Black girls are my fucking like nemesis in San Bernardino. Yeah. The only fucker with red hair, right? And there was 4 of us out of like 500 kids. So it's like, if I did something wrong, it was like, he did. Even when I didn't do shit wrong, I get blamed
You were
for it.
the
It's like,
minority.
you're the only fucker with white hair. You're going to get fucking pointed out, right? You can't hide in a crowd. So I get called out, and it's like, but in my group of kids, it was like there's kids that didn't fuck with me that I'm cool with, and then there's kids that do fuck with me, and it's like, obviously, I'm not cool with you, all right? If you're going to fuck with me.
But the point is, it doesn't matter what color. It doesn't matter. Like, you can be my enemy and be black, white, yellow, blue, purple, or you could be my best friend, black, white, yellow, green,
I don't
blue,
think
purple.
we're dealing with the racism issue as much as we're dealing with like a cultural and a value issue. It's like, do you value
So that's
treating
what
somebody
I
the
brought
same?
that up. Like, I know a lot of like black people that are like, they are pro-Trump. They fucking are like, they're not the Antifa, like they're not saying they're oppressed or like, you know what I mean? They're kind of like more like you mentally, where it's like they just look and observe and see the facts, and they're like, Black Lives Matter is bullshit.
There's a
like,
lot.
They know it's fucking bullshit.
It might only be like 30%, or I think it's around 30% of blacks that support Trump, and it's like when you hear them talk, bro, it's not like talking to a fucking. They say it themselves. It's like, I don't know why black people hate fucking Trump so much. It's like, if you look at what he does. He hasn't been that bad.
To just what we said about the Democrats buying votes and
buying the media, bro, and they bought this. It's like why did all the fucking black rappers and shit love Trump and all those fucking songs about Trump in like the 90s, right? It was everybody's like Young Jeezy's talking about him. It's like, so, and you see he hangs out. He has black friends too, and look at Kanye. It's like he's just. He's cool to everybody. To call him racist, but then when he started fucking,
he started saying building the wall and shit. That's where like, trust me, like I didn't like him. I didn't like the wall. Like him. I'm apolitical. I didn't like
him running on the wall idea. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't probably.
But
like
it makes
something
sense to me at the same time, and I understand it in a business perspective. That's what I do like about him. He's a businessman, so like he knows, and that's what we need to worry about is our economy. I think, as a country. That's like,
dude, the economy's going to shit, bro. There's gonna be fucking people starving in the street soon. I'm saying within like 6 months, bro.
And for him to step in and try to treat it like a business with all his experience, he doesn't need any money. He doesn't need it.
There's certain things that he can't control. He can't control the shutdown. But I'm just saying, compared to like the older people that were in office, they used it for financial gain. Their political power. It was corrupted for that. Like, so I feel like he's like, it's more like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. But I'm
one thing I did
like, it's like the economy's going to shit because we shut down the economy, and it's like that wasn't Trump's fault. He didn't shut down anything. And it's like, I feel like that's how we should have handled it. Like, we should have handled it, be like, okay, we recommend that everybody stay home for 2 weeks. Okay, and try and fucking quell this. Yeah. But making it a government mandate to fucking shut everything down, I feel like it was a mistake. It's like, you got to trust the American people. Like, pretty much what they're telling you is like, we're going to instead of making recommendations and thinking you guys are like smart people that'll do what's best for you and your family, we're going to treat you like idiots and fucking mandate a shutdown, and because we don't trust you to make good decisions. And it's like, not only that infringe on our rights, it fucking pretty much told you, like, we don't trust you to make good decisions. Like, that's what they think of us, bro. And that's the Democratic grand cities for the most part. Like, you look in the South, they didn't fucking shut down. You know what I mean? And it's like, did a bunch of fucking people die down there? It's like, no. There's a smart way to go about it, but taking away our freedoms and going against the Constitution, it wasn't a smart deal. And look, we're paying for it. It's like, whenever you make a mistake, you pay for it. And so shutting down the economy is fucking us. And we're gonna be paying for this shit 10 years down the line, bro. Yeah. It breaks my heart, bro, seeing these people in these food lines and shit. And there's just gonna be more of that, bro. And that's not Trump's fault, dude. He didn't fucking do it. That's just some shit that fucking happened.
I think we just gotta roll with the punches.
That's why growing food's a good idea, dude.
Yeah, I think,
at least
for sure.
Start getting a little bit better at it, because it's something that you learn little by little.
I think it's gonna force a certain type of renaissance, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
There's gonna be a different type of person that's gonna fucking be the one that survives this. It's gonna be the ones that had their shit together, either the super wealthy or the people like me and you that are taking little steps to be more self-sufficient. Because if it all goes to hell in a handbasket, which is what it looks like right now, you're gonna need to do some basic things. You're gonna need to fucking learn how to build a shelter, or repair your own faucet.
So what else do you know, like, about the economy and
Dude.
like you're talking gold?
The fucking economy's coming to a screeching halt right now, dude. These banks, they got rid of fractional reserve banking. Like, so fractional reserve banking's fucked up enough as it is, because you only have to have like 10% of the cash you lend out in there. So banks used to have to at least have 10% of the cash that they lent out, right? So, well, they got rid of that. So now these banks just started fucking loaning money back and forth to each other, right? And eventually there fucking has to come a day where you have to pay that back. There's not enough physical fucking money out there to pay back all of the debts.
Yeah.
That are out. And that's just a simple concept of, like, if you give somebody fucking $100, right? And then somebody comes and gets a loan and you loan that person $1,000, well, there's going to be interest that accrues on that. And so there'll just never be a day that we don't have, that we can wipe out the debt. So we're in a debt slavery, pretty much is what it's called. So there needs to be a reset, but this global reset that they're talking about, and just dealing away with paper money, it's like, paper money only has value because we believe in it, you know? We need to get back on something that's actually representative of it. Because if we don't, like, oh, we're going through it right now, dude. It's coming fucking to a real screeching halt. Like, I just saw the tech numbers right now just went down like 5 and 7%. It's because it's just like the stock market's rigged, dude. Just like everything else, it's fucking rigged.
So Warren Buffett, like, recently invested in a lot of gold, and he doesn't really do that?
No, Warren Buffett historically has said it's not a good investment. It's not even
It's not
an
investment. It's more of insurance.
It is insurance.
Because, like you said, it's actually tangible, and it has worth versus the dollar.
Like, I don't know a whole lot, but I know when you print trillions of dollars and you have more of something, like, it's worth less.
It's like when you have certain types of drugs that you can mix with and step on, basically dilute it.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening when you're printing more money. You decrease the value of it. You're stepping on the dollar. You're making it. There's more of it, but it's not as potent. It's not. It doesn't have as much worth.
And we gave this private corporation, you know, the control over our money.
The Federal Reserve.
The Reserve.
Okay.
And so they're only looking after themselves. You know, number one, right? I mean, and that's just how people are. You're gonna look after yourself. Like, we have to do that in order to take care of ourselves. Now, doesn't mean like we're gonna dick like these guys are, like literally taking everything for themselves. But if you can invest a little bit in gold or silver right now, it's gonna be worth a lot in the future, because you can't keep printing more money backed by nothing and not expect inflation to happen.
How far is an ounce of gold gonna go for you when shit hits the
right
fan?
Now you can buy an ounce of gold for like $30.
Nah, but I mean, like, when shit hits the fan,
well,
like,
if
you
shit
got
hits the
your
fan,
ounce
you
of
need
gold.
fucking guns. If shit hits the fan, gold and silver ain't gonna do shit.
I feel like
you
we
need
don't
guns,
have enough
bro.
money to be able to actually like do that on a substantial, scale where it's like, yeah, we have all this gold, then it's gonna do this for us. Like, an ounce or two of gold is not gonna last that long. Like you said, you need real guns and seeds and like some shit.
No, we're saying, okay, so gold and silver only matters if like society and civilization is still around. You know, it's like, how bad of a crash are we gonna have right now? Are we gonna have a crash where we have to reevaluate the dollar and maybe make a new currency, something that's backed by something, and then we can trade our gold and silver in for something? But it's like, the dollar is just not worth anything.
Yeah.
There's just nothing for it. So it's like, I would rather have a little bit of that and a lot of guns.
Yeah.
So it's like, when shit does hit the fan, either in the financial system or in the real world, like, it's just smart to have something that's been used. It historically has value. Like, gold has always had fucking value. And silver, you can use silver in all sorts of electronics and stuff. So it's like,
Yeah. There was a whole video that came out that was hidden, bro. Let's talk about that. Let's get on there. Are we on?
Yep.
All right, yeah, so we were just talking about some hemp and history and hemp and, hey, could you grab some more beers?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah.
What you want?
Let me go for XX again.
Dos Equis.
Yes, por favor.
space
I just
dust?
crashed. I just cracked one.
Oh, okay.
That's actually what I wanted to take a break for. Actually, I'll take a Dos Equis too for like just in case we talk a while.
But oh yeah. So you were talking about the World War II, and
So,
it was
yeah,
called
they made
it was called Hemp for Victory. The USDA came out with like a 14-minute long video about how they needed. It was for the war efforts to grow hemp, you know, for all types of shit. So traditionally, like so much shit was made from hemp and shit like that, and
So
our country
was literally
utilized
founded on
that,
hemp, right?
Basically, yeah. Like
George Washington grew it. There's a quote that says that every citizen should
make use
of hemp.
Indian hemp or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he called it something different.
And he said some of his best times were sitting on his porch and smoking sweet leaf.
Really? That's tight.
Sweet leaf?
Yeah.
That's not tobacco.
That's not tobacco, is it? They just didn't know what to
and he
call
was
it.
looking over his crops, just smoking bud on his porch, like, yeah. But
isn't that some of the best days we've ever had together, dude?
That Hemp for Victory was a cool one. It was like
well, because they use it in the Navy and the shipping industry.
Yeah.
Well, that and fuel. I mean, it's like hemp's the most, like, literally that should be what the new currency should be based on. If we had to go back, like what? If
it was actually legal tender at one point. You could use it to pay your taxes. You could use it as just like paying shit off or use it as currency.
Wouldn't that
like
be
we were
awesome?
just talking about as currency.
It's the most utilized. It's the most useful.
And it's renewable.
Oh,
it does so much for the environment. It sequesters carbon from the air, which, agree with me or not, there's too much CO2 in the air.
I don't think it's a good thing. I don't know if it's causing all the shit going on right now, but I definitely don't think it's
gases and shit. But
we can get into that too, bro. They want to.
Hemp is a crazy plant.
He's gonna scream until he does.
Bronxy poo.
Bronxy poo poo. That little crazy fuck. So yeah, like. So they want to blame cows and cattle and everything.
What's cool though? I mean, you know, in 2018 the Farm Bill was passed, and that included the hemp. So
I hated fucking Trump, dude, for 2 years, and as soon as he fucking passed that,
I'm not gonna lie.
My mind went like.
So like, I'm apolitical, like I said, but he's been doing some shit. I'm not like.
I wish they would take Twitter away from him, bro. Like a lot of what he says is fucking retarded. I agree with you 100%. But if you look at some of the policies that he's passed, he did do the
Farm Bill, and it included growing hemp nationwide in all 50 states for all types of uses. Because now, you know, we got like
CBD's legal now.
Yeah, the last show we did, my homie, the CBD thing was a big thing.
Trump, he even said it. He's fighting fucking pharmacy companies right now, you know. And he's
huge.
saying if we can buy a drug overseas for a certain price, he's like, that's what you need to charge for it. Like, that's helping our seniors out. You know, we're going to be old one day, and if this law is still around, it's like, he's helping us out fucking
Well, when you're running a business, it's not all about what you can extract from the people or the machine. If you look at the business model and the business
trying to make it run more efficiently.
But that includes, when there's a human factor, that includes the efficiency of the human spirit.
We're part of the machine, bro. You know
but we're not machine.
We're not.
We have spirits. And we're people. So like the efficiency of our own being is included in it's scalable into the mass, into the business, if you look at the United States as a business. So like you said, if we're worrying about the health of our people, why are we trying to make a profit? Like huge, like the pharmaceuticals make huge profits off these medicines, like the HIV medicine, oil, or like whatever
pharmaceuticals like the number one.
There's patents on them, and they pay like say $25 for one pill. It costs them or whatever. Probably pennies, bro. And they charge like $800 or more.
They spend more money on advertising than they do fucking research and development.
And like
I hate fucking
the whole opioid epidemic is a problem. Like
pushed on by
problem,
Purdue.
Bro. And it's like it's
I know me and you both know fucking people that have OD'd, bro. Like it's no
I've seen it all,
dude.
Man. Like
it was
I've seen it all, bro.
I probably lost like at least 5 people that I know personally from that shit. And now, but it's like, so how do we get out of that? We start taking care of ourselves, and like what Jordan Peterson says too, it's like the nation falls when the people crumble. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
that's what I was saying.
If we
Like,
take
we're all
care of our
part of
spirits
this.
and we take care of ourselves and like believe in a higher. It's not that you believe in a higher power. Just believe that you want to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. You know, that's why I love Jordan Peterson so much. It's because he just teaches like take an honest look at yourself. Look where you can make some improvements on, and just if you have that mindset, every day it'll work
bit
out.
by bit.
Like you're either going up or down.
And
you
like
know?
he talks a lot too about like not having a nihilistic perspective.
You gotta live
like,
for something.
Yeah, you gotta have purpose.
Bro. You know how
purpose.
it's like the chances of being alive are just so astronomically small.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
It's you have better chances fucking winning the lottery. Like there's a real large number.
Yeah.
I don't know the statistics exactly, but you're way better off winning the lottery than actually being born.
And so religion,
and, like, being healthy,
you know,
and being,
people want to get rid of religion right now, and it's like, you know, me personally, I identify as like a Buddhist. I'm gonna put a label on, but really, what it comes down to, I love Jesus too, bro. Jesus fucking, and his words are awesome. So I like to think of myself just like a little bit of everything, you know, taking the best aspects. It just so happens that chanting and meditating for me is what brings like every day, like that brings the most out of myself, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, instead of just going to church on Sundays and getting the message, you know, well, a lot of religious people fucking read the Bible every day, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but for me, chanting is that like time out from everything, and I do it first thing in the morning so I can kind of get like a, set the tone for the rest of the day, you know? And it's like a lot of what life's about for me anyways is how I handle any situation. There's always going to be something fucking bad or whatever, quote unquote bad, but it's really just something that you got to overcome, you know? And
learn from, and
there's no bad trips, bro. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you bought the ticket, you take the ride. Now, if you happen to encounter some things in your trip that aren't like pleasurable, well, guess what?
You learn from it.
That's life too. You gotta learn how to fight through it or accept it.
And that's
a lot of it isn't fighting it. A lot of it's
is.
just accepting it. You know, when you have a trip and you're in an uncomfortable situation, you gotta accept it. And I found for me, like changing scenery, changing music, like doing something different brings you out of that like bad mind state or thought pattern you're going through. And it's like that's the same thing in life. When you're having like a bad time in life, then you gotta look at the situation and change something about it, change your environment, you know? And that's what's been helping me, bro, because I've lived with depression for a fucking long time, dude.
Yeah.
You know, since I was like 12. So a lot of these things have helped, like, I don't feel that way anymore, you know? But like you said about nihilism, dude, like, I was like atheist and thought that life was meaningless, and I treated it that way. I just got fucked up for like a decade and a half, you know? I was addicted to fucking Oxycontin and fucking Xanax, and like that shit was, I didn't value how special and how much, I didn't really fucking think that what I was doing was affecting other people, and I was like, life's miserable, so I'm just gonna try and numb it. And I realized that A, you are hurting those people, you're hurting those ones around you that love you and they don't want to see you strive. And B, it's like, I got some gifts that I can give to the world too, you know? So it's being selfish by not trying to be better, like you're being selfish. So I stopped being so fucking selfish, and now I have a meaning. I have like, you know, a vision and goals.
Hell yeah, you taught me a lot, dude. You fucking inspired me and encouraged me in a lot of different ways too. And you do have a lot to offer, so that's good. I
just didn't feel like, I didn't feel valued, bro. And because I didn't feel valued, I didn't really value myself, you know, to be honest. And
so does that come down to like having a purpose kind of in life?
It does, dude. It is like, and for me, it's like I want a family, you know, but I want to bring my best self to my family. I want to like make it work, you know. I don't want a family just to have kids so they can trim weed. Like I want to
cut the grass.
I want to make like good people, bro.
Go water the grass.
I feel like a lot. Yeah, stay off my lawn.
Go give me a beer.
Yeah, that actually fucks up your kids, bro, to be honest with you.
What do you mean?
That whole go get me a beer.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they say in Australia anyways. They're like, just teaches them to be alcoholics. So I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah. What about your dog? If you could.
Huh?
I've seen dogs trained to do that.
Really?
Yeah, they leave like a little.
You could probably train Bronx, dude. He's so hyperactive. Well, except for right now.
But nah,
But-
I feel you, man.
Yeah, man, I want to have a family, dude. I want to have a good family. You know, I want to just be a good dad. I think that's probably the best
So,
value.
yeah.
If I can't bring anything else into this world, if I can bring forth some kids that have good values and, you know,
For sure,
that
bro.
know that they're loved and cherished, like, I feel like that's kind of where
So,
that might be the only thing I can.
Dude,
I'm not going to
that's
write, like,
not-
I might not write a master book
No,
or the
dude,
fucking, you know.
I got goosebumps, but you gave me like that's the most important thing you can do, I think, is like, because like we're just talking about fractals and like the human spirit as a part of the whole. Like if you look at the individual and then the family and then the community and then the state, and it goes out and
That goes
beyond,
back to Jordan Peterson.
beyond
If you want
to
to
the
fix the world,
universe,
fix yourself.
You know what I'm saying? But
Straight up.
So, I mean, we're talking about the current state of the world, and specifically here in the U.S. as a fellow patriots.
Yeah.
I think that's what we kind of need to focus on the most is like ourselves
I agree with you
and,
100%.
and our families.
All
like,
these people are out there
everyone could-
angry at stuff they're being told to be angry about, and they're just
Yeah.
not like just fucking living their best life, bro. All these people
It
yelling
wasn't
and
a
screaming.
problem. Like maybe it was. There was certain little things still kind of that needed to be dealt with. As far as like, if we're talking about the same thing, as far as like the racial shit.
Yeah.
Like
The systemic racial fucking.
I think that's just been.
If that was true, then there wouldn't be any black people out there that are saying they live their life just fine. Okay, like Thomas Sowell, Larry Elders. You know, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of black people that'll tell you racism wasn't an issue to me. You know, so it's like, who do you believe? Do you believe these people over here who are, a lot of them are like rich liberals saying racism's fucking everywhere? Or do you listen to the average black person?
I think it's like a mindset. Like if you look into psychology and shit, and like just
True.
having a mindset of like victimization or whatever, like
I
being
felt
a
that
victim,
same way, too.
It's like you can play the victim and blame your parents. You can fucking blame society, and you can be the fucking pissed off teenage kid and stuck there forever.
You can, or you can say, "Fuck,
you can
dude,
fucking
I'm
just-
not happy with myself right now, but I'm the only one that's gonna make it better."
And also, dude, like, fuck, dude, like, people have had shitty lives, like, and still do. Like,
And I
America,
empathize
if you
with
grew up in
everybody,
America,
bro.
you most likely had a decent life, like. Most likely,
We're not
pretty
being
fucking
honest with
decent. Like
ourselves,
in America,
yeah.
we live like fucking kings and queens, bro. Like real fucking talk.
The poorest person in
Like,
America is living
crazy.
100% better than the like
No matter
richest
what
person
color
500
you
years
are,
ago.
and you have the ability.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no matter
back
what
in
color
the
you are.
day, bro, they had it fucking rough. Like,
Yeah.
the poorest person in America has a much
From
better life.
healthcare to just equality to everything.
You're talking about oppression, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine
And
living in
women,
like the
too.
fucking
women don't get
1200s.
enough. Women, and then say you're a black woman or a Mexican or a minority woman, like that's like the worst thing. You know what I
Why?
mean? Because you're a woman and you're a minority.
Well,
like,
I mean, but here's the thing: why it's like we've made a bunch of progress since then, bro.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Look at women in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
definitely.
you want to talk about oppression, bro? Like that's oppression.
Definitely.
You have the same, a black person or a woman in America has the same opportunity to go to school, fucking drive a car, have a bank account.
But I don't know. There is some type of racism though, like.
But that's just
there's
in the
different
fault of humanity,
degrees,
like-
and it's an attitude too, like.
Because we're not perfect, bro. So of
Yeah,
course there's
it's
gonna be
almost
racism
it's like
because no
it's
one
like
person is perfect.
You can look at racism as like even just looking.
But
at
is that the
a
main
fat
thing?
person,
But is
like,
that the
oh,
main
that's
thing? So
that guy's
racism is a
fat.
deal. I'm gonna give you that.
You just
Racism-
look at people's features and you call them out.
Yeah.
That's just how we are. Like, oh, he's tall, he's short, he's fat, he's skinny, he's black, he's white. He has
God
this
forbid
color
you
hair,
call
he doesn't
a
have
fat
hair.
person fat today, you're gonna get canceled.
I don't
It's
give a
like
fuck.
that's just being honest. I know. That's just being honest. It's like
That's why I came to the whole PC thing. I'm like, it got me even where I'm like, man, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Man, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I don't.
I seriously
I'm sorry.
don't. And that's what
Fuck
that's
it.
why
like,
growing weed
and
is
like,
so
that's
awesome.
why I love comedy too. Me and you,
So you can't
we've
get
talked
canceled
about
when you
this
just-
before,
yeah.
but comedy, like stand-up comedy, and Dave Chappelle talks about it a lot too. But it's an art form and it does get a lot of
that helps
political
people
issues.
learn in a fun way, you know, like here.
But it has no holds bar. Like it doesn't hold anything back. Like that's what
you
it
gotta
gets everybody. Everybody's
you have
on
to
the
be
chopping
offended,
block.
bro. Like comedians are great because they're offended. They're making a joke about one person, right? And it's like, yeah, so that
It's
one
the
person's gonna be offended, but everybody else is gonna laugh, you know?
Yeah,
Or
it's uncomfortable shit that nobody wants to talk, or like certain
like
people.
a good joke, dude, has a little bit of self relevation in it, you know? Like a great joke.
But that's why I'm saying I love they put politics, like they put a lot of meaningful shit in it, but it's an art.
Right now.
They
The
make
comedians
it
are
funny
shut
because
down.
humor is a part of dealing with life. For me, I've come to that conclusion. Like it's all a fucking joke at this point.
It is.
We might as well just laugh about it and fucking try our best.
Laugh about shit helps you get through life, bro.
I can get real serious
laughing.
about life. And you need to be serious, but that's kind of when you get depressed. So like sometimes it is just good to just laugh about shit. But laughing about it actually deals with it in a certain way too, because you do talk about it instead of just putting it under the rug and trying not to talk about it. Like you're like, ha, like this fucked up shit happened to me. Like, ha, like life's
But don't you find like some
joke.
things that are ironic, you know, and it's funny because it's ironic, but you have to do like a little bit of like self, you know. You have to look at yourself and be like, yeah, that was funny. I flipped off that guy and then I fucking got a flat tire.
Like,
you know,
like a fool. Like
yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's probably not good to drink a 6-pack and a bottle of Jameson and go out on fucking, you know, go out on New Year's Eve. Something fucked up might happen. Okay. So it hurt at the time, but I can laugh about it now.
I think it's part of the healing process.
It is, isn't it, dude? I noticed that when I started like watching comedians, my fucking just whole outlook just changed.
Well, yeah, back to that, cause they're like they're so intelligent, like emotionally and fucking everything. It's like, but they just go with the flow of like nothing really matters. But they really, like, a lot of them are really deep and they fucking have a good political stance and understanding of the world. Like to be funny, you have to be smart. Like you can't just be funny. Like
no, you gotta take a look at something from a new angle. I mean, what makes a joke funny for the most part for me is like learning, like not being like he just brought something up that I hadn't connected the dots yet to. Mm-hmm. And like that's what kind of makes it.
It's just like some subconscious shit that's like taboo, where like we don't really talk about it in society.
Yeah.
But a funny motherfucker has the courage to bring it out to the table and talk about it, and in a funny way makes it kind of acceptable to talk about.
Isn't it funny that America has like the best comedians? And it's like, don't you think that correlates to how we accept free expression in all forms, you know? So it's like, it makes sense that we would have the best comedians because we have the most, all the cultures. We can fucking look at, we have, our differences is what makes us so special.
So and back to that, like, man, like, black people are funny. I love black people, dude. Like, the entertainment would not be anything without them. Like sports, a lot of shit, even science, everything, dude.
Oh, I love.
So
dude,
like, trust me, I love black people and shit. And fuck, dude. But BLM is a joke. But
I know, man.
I just want to say that because
we just make a choice, bro. We gotta make a choice that we're gonna make it better than it is worse. Like these people yelling and screaming right now. I don't think they think that. I think they think they're making it better, but they're really just yelling and screaming.
But also, like I said,
that are good
we
people,
can
bro.
understand where they're coming from, right? They might have the right intentions of like, this shit ain't right. Like we feel the same way. We've been through
That's
that.
because
this
they're
shit
being
ain't
fed
right.
a lie, bro.
And but the U.S. has done fucked up shit.
Oh,
bro.
it has. But
like,
right now, it's like they're being told like this one very small fucking window of picture, and if they were to look at the broad scope of everything, like they would realize that like they're being used. Like these
it's
people,
just part of the process. Like you can't.
The BLMers and the Antifa are being used for other purposes, bro. They got infiltrated. You know, well, Antifa was what it was from the beginning, but it's like BLM got infiltrated by this ideology, and it's like they're pushing a Marxist ideology, and that's anti-American. Like we're never gonna be a fucking communist or socialist society. It's just. Otherwise, we're not, like, might as well not even call it United States of America. If you're going to get rid of freedom, if you're going to get rid of the free expression of ideas, then it's like
But it's
we've
kind of
lost everything.
slowly been going towards that, even under the behind the scenes.
It has. Like, it starts with
what's kinda-
education, bro. It started with
Yeah,
education.
that's why I kind of don't like education systems.
I'm
I
a
love
homeschool.
education. I'm all about education and information and all that. But like, the institutions, they're all bureaucratic institutions. They're all like from the government, and I think.
I started raising my hand because I was thinking about school.
It doesn't
like,
promote individuality.
I was like, I'm gonna homeschool my kids, and this is what's great about growing dope, dude, is because I can supplement my income and not have to work for the man, and fucking teach my kids at the same time.
So growing dope is a patriotic thing, right?
It is.
Fuck
I think it's one of the best things you can do, bro. You're taking control of your life, and it's like growing a plant. If you put love into it, you're gonna get a good plant. You know, look, I put a lot of love into those plants. I could have put a little bit more into them, and so I understand that. So it's a self-reflection. Like when I look,
an American thing.
It is.
Sure. And also like I want to say almost like I always looked at it like for me.
Well, you're the one that brought a whole new idea to like what it means, you know, and it's like the culture behind it. So I give you props for that. Because like I was just like, weed is weed, you know, and then like you started breaking down some of the history of it. So I've definitely learned a fucking whole hell of a lot from you, bro. Like I look up to you in a lot of ways. You know, one of those is like the different information that you have, you know, and so fucking that's where that respect comes from. It's like, dude, you take life seriously and funny at the same time, right?
Yeah, I got to.
But it's like I know when I'm talking to you, you're at least being honest with me and telling me some truth that you found in it, you know, or some new fact. And it's like, oh, did you know this? And it's like, it gives me an opportunity to change my point of view on things. So like, I've learned from you because I've been proved wrong a lot by you. Right?
Yeah,
so it's like,
same,
and we're like fucking really good fucking friends, you know?
Yeah.
So it's okay to like you're doing somebody a favor.
We don't always agree, but we always try to talk it out for sure. We have a way of talking it out. So,
well, we don't like get, I might raise my voice, but it's not. I'm not yelling and screaming like I get excited about things, but it's like we have a mutual respect for each other, and then we were able to just say it in a way. It's like it's not what you say; it's how you say it. So like if you can frame,
I think it's what you say too, though. I think you really gotta be.
You have to be careful with your words. I mean, that was a generalization, but I do agree with you that you do have to be careful with your words and realize.
You're saying too.
Like, I don't know about the whole science is violence thing, but I do know that words, you know, sometimes they hurt more than stone. I don't know about that, you know. It's how you feel about it, but like,
I think it's good to have a opinion and have a voice and care. And like, I'm not supporting the anti-fascists and what they're doing, but they're super extreme. But like, I kind of understand where they're coming from. I did have that point.
Yeah,
where it's like man,
fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever it takes, right?
Well, just like realizing when you come into being an adult and you start realizing, and if you can look at information and decipher through it and look at objectively, like just the history of America and like why we go to certain wars or why we do certain things like legalize the plant cannabis.
So I think they've seen all the corruption in America, and like they haven't seen a lot of the good. And that has to go with our fucking education system. You know, it's like, I agree that we should always be constantly fucking changing, you know, evolving and making a better society. Like, that's possible. But if you don't know your history, you don't know the ideals of America and why, like, it's a known fact that America is like number one, right? So it's like, what made it number one? And as far as economic and all the other shit, innovation and economic or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
So it's like, what made America run so well for so long? And I think we need to get back to those ideals. We need to take a really good look at history and say like, okay, this is why it worked. And then, well, we also had this issue. Okay, well, how did we solve that issue and then move forward? And it's like, but at a certain point, America started declining. And so we need to look at why that happened. Look at the time frames, look at shit, you know?
I agree totally.
And Thomas Sowell says it started going to shit in the 60s. Like, up until like through the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, like the blacks were coming the fuck up in the world. More blacks were being pulled out of poverty, fucking day by day. Like the percentage of growth of blacks getting out of poverty was the highest in the 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s until the Democrats started taking over.
So you could almost say it was systematic then.
You can. It's an ideal thing. We got away from what makes America great, and we started. It was the whole communist revolution, the movement, dude. It's like Marxism and this postmodern like equality of outcome thing, you know, and it's we've been declining ever since
I had
then.
this guy that I met a while back, and we had some really cool conversations about like Buddhism and stuff. But started following him on Instagram, and now he's talking about like communism and socialism. And he's like advocating it, and I'm just like,
what?
And he's talking about like how we're kids. This is basically what he said. Like we're taught to share, and then we grew up, and like something happened based on society, and da da da, and
that
like
we don't share
and
no
now
more?
we don't share. When we need to go
What?
back to learning how to share. I'm like, oh my
Bro.
God, like that's not ideal.
He's looking at it completely fucking wrong. It's like, dude, I share with you, like we share on an individual level,
It's
but
like
sharing
it's not like, oh, what can we do? What can everyone contribute? Like
here's the whole thing about taxes and everything. So if I'm
You gotta be
excelling and I'm making a
accountable, you
lot
gotta
and
be
I'm paying into the
contributing too.
system, paying taxes, you know, it's like that's our contribution, right?
yeah, you gotta.
What more do you
contribute.
want me to fucking
You can't
do?
just be like me. That's where it comes into like just buying votes and shit. Like that ain't cool. Like being like, oh, we need money for this. Like governments are supposed to be small. Like it should be small and it should serve the people. The people shouldn't serve the government. The government should be small and be there for the people. Like
This is
we
what
should be able to run our own shit. Really,
an idea that I heard that makes sense, and it's like it's a proven fact that when you tax less, you know, business does better. Okay, but if you like here and there's an argument for like an banishment on fucking federal income tax. It's like the more money you have, the more likely people are in general to give. So back in the day, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and all that shit, the churches took care of taking care of the downtrodden and all that.
Yeah.
So there wasn't like a financial safety net necessarily, but people had more money and they gave more because nobody wants to see people in the streets, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see people in the streets. It breaks my heart every time I see a homeless person, dude. But it's like, what's gonna get them off the street? And it's like, whatever we're doing right now, trying to fucking do it through taxing more, it hasn't been working, dude.
Well, I think it's keeping them off, like preventing it somehow, rather than trying to get them off the streets. Like by the time they're on the streets, it's kind of like, man, they made a lot of fucked up decisions. A lot of people.
Like I don't mind paying taxes into having like healthcare, mental health care services and shit like that. You know, it's unfortunate that we're kind of the police of the fucking world, and that we spend so much money on Department of Defense. I'd like to see some reform in that and shift away some of that money towards social services and shit like that. Mm-hmm. But we do have to protect freedom, dude. We're like the last free country that's out there pretty much. I mean, I know a lot of like the Western world and Europe, they're still under the guise of fucking socialism. And it's like, that's what makes us special, is that we still have the most freedom, even though we do have a lot of socialistic things that we could change. I think because we are as free as we are, that's what makes it what it is. So, I don't know, we just got to go back and learn from our history, dude. It worked, you know? What made it work? It's like the ideals of George Washington, like
I think agriculture is big.
Taking care of yourself, dude.
I think it's not. You
can't depend on society right now. If you're taking an honest look at society as it is right now, you cannot depend on anything working in the long term. Like you have got to start looking at like reading books on how to fucking have like horticulture and how to like husbandry and taking care of animals. Like if you are taking an honest look at it right now, you got to be like, it might come down to it that we have to live in a small society because these cities are falling apart. It's probably going to be a fucking civil war. Like, you know, right around the election, you know, all hell's going to break loose regardless of who wins. So I think it's going to be a very interesting couple months, but it's going to get worse before it gets better, dude. So, but you just got to understand that and just take care of yourself fucking day by day and just try and educate, to be honest with you. Yeah. I don't know how we can talk to these people that are all on the streets fucking going crazy. They don't want to listen.
Yeah.
So we can't keep letting them burn down the fucking country, though.
Yeah.
I mean, not like me and you personally, but it's like if they came down to it and they're out in front of my door fucking raising hell, it's like, I ain't fucking around. I ain't playing with you guys.
You think that's going to happen?
I think there's a high likelihood. I mean, if you look at what they've already done, they've already walked down through fucking Washington, D.C. and Seattle with fucking speakers and shit yelling at fucking citizens. And it's like, if Trump gets reelected, fucking, they're probably going to keep doing it more. So we do need police, dude. We need police because of these people. It's like, it's a fucking mob, bro. They lost their fucking mind.
That's another thing I felt I could understand where people are coming with defunding the police. I used to kind of think the same thing, but like, it's just it just needs to be reformed. The funds need to be reallocated.
They need to be trained better, bro. Like in Germany, like one of the memes on the left is like, look at all these countries and they have like 2, 3, something I agree with, like, but they need to be paid more then. So you have to actually increase funding to the police in order to send them to go to college and set up these institutions to do all this shit. So if you want good police, then we need to pay more money to fucking train them or whatever. And then, so defunding them isn't the answer, dude.
Yeah.
Defunding them is not the answer. Reform is definitely the answer, and I'm down with that, bro.
Reformation.
I mean, I just think it's something that we need to really be serious about, dude. Consequences have already kind of come in with Chaz or Chop, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
I
don't know. What's going on with that?
They shut it down. Finally, they showed up at her house. This is how you get kicked out of a city. Show up at the mayor's house, and if they have any balls, they fucking kick your ass out of town.
Really?
So, yeah, that's what she did.
Huh.
Yeah, pretty much the next day.
No justice, no sleep. That's what they say, right?
Uh-huh. Well, she said, you ain't getting justice, you're getting the fuck out. Finally let the police
sleep.
But there's a thing, dude, we're fucking demoralizing the police. Nobody wants to be a fucking cop. So if we let this shit continue.
I kind of think that's another thing that the media has been magnifying and trying to blow out of proportion. I feel like most people don't really feel like that. Like, I don't know.
I don't. I know, like, on my fucking news feed, I probably have like 3 people that I would say are like at least loud about all this shit, Like, whenever I look at some of their crazy ass posts, I don't see a whole lot of likes, bro.
As much as I don't like the police, it's like, if I imagine without the police, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, in our line of work, lifestyle, like, it's just part of the game.
Well, you're breaking the fucking law, though. Like, here's the thing.
We're used to it, and there's certain.
I don't believe in the law.
There's
like,
certain
look,
rules.
There's
certain rules, and you learn the rules, and you try to play the game the best.
You work within them. You work within them, or you fucking raise money and protest until you can change them. Look, laws change.
That too, yeah.
You pour money and effort into it, you can get a fucking law changed. It's been proved. Look at the guy that got.
Yeah. Look at weed. That's why I love
weed. Look at weed, dude. If you're loud enough, this is the thing about protesting the right way. If you're loud enough and you make sense to other people, they get behind your fucking issue. But if you're loud and you're violent, nobody wants that.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not solving anything.
It's not. They don't want that. It's like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this fucking asshole. It's like, if you want something to really change, you have to have a good message. It's got to make sense, and you can't beat people over the head for it.
Yeah, so that's what we got to do.
I'm down, dude. I'm down with this fucking pedo Hollywood gate bullshit. Like, if you want to go march for fucking children trafficking, I'm down. And what was there? There's something else that I said I was down to fucking march for. Fuck, I can't remember right now. But it's like, there's a couple things, dude. But I don't know. We don't even know their message, bro, to be honest with you, besides let's just tear civilization down and start over.
I just don't think they have as much traction as the media makes it seem.
So you gotta look at why that is, but we already talked about that shit.
I just don't even care to really go on that much, but
I know, and I'm like, I go back and forth, dude. But it's like, as far as I'm concerned, like everybody's already made up their mind.
Today I saw in San Bernardino they're increasing the licenses to 17 licenses. I don't know what it is now.
Great.
It's only a few, but
we just need to go back to fucking Prop 215, bro. We had it so good.
I don't think we're going back to that.
I know, you never go back. That's the problem, but I hate Prop 64.
We gotta deal with what it is. So I see it just getting more loose and more loose, like how it kind of is right now. First, they wanted people to pay all these application fees.
I agree, that's the way it is going.
They're just squeezing all the money they can out right from the gate. but then now they're like loosening up.
This is the fucked up thing about
That's the
Prop
only way it's
64
gonna
is that when
work,
it was
bro,
just
like-
a medicine, the big players and fucking politicians didn't have no money in it, bro. They're getting donations from these fools, and that's why they're allowing these. Do you think it's gonna be random for those 17 new licenses, bro? Fuck no. It's gonna be people that fucking paid
It's
money
more
with
than
that
what
shit.
it is now,
You know
though.
that's what it is, dude. The
But
fucking
it's
Prop
more than what
64
it's
has caused
now.
more fucking corruption for fucking marijuana within the politics of it.
Yeah,
That's why I
but
think it should
this
be a
is what we're
medicine.
dealing with.
But it's just gonna make it worse,
We can't
bro.
go back.
We're creating another fucking corporation that's like gonna be like the oil companies.
Well,
When they
there's
make it-
ways,
if
there's
they-
ways
if-
of,
or when
we
they make
gotta
it
be-
federally legal?
we gotta be active and be, you know, out there in the like in the movement.
This is how I feel about it, dude. If we let these fucking banks and shit start getting into marijuana and Wall Street,
Well-
it's just gonna be another fucking.
Well, everyone can grow their six, like you're doing it, like, if we could help do
Most
that
people
with
are lazy,
everybody.
bro. They don't want to fucking do that shit.
Nah, most people don't know. They need a jump start. They don't know how to do shit. So it's like,
Yeah, I'm
I
down
can
to
help
teach
them. They don't have
too.
genetics. They don't have the clones, the plants.
Well, it's
For
something
sure
that you gotta
female.
earn, bro. It's like you gotta smoke weed for 10 years and
Nah,
then
I
you start
don't
meeting
think so.
people that know what they're doing.
I think it's something that everyone should be able to access. You don't have to earn it. Like,
Well, I mean, you
earning
gotta-
it comes with time as far as like being
Yeah.
successful. But as far as just receiving a clone from someone, I think that should be like basic human rights.
Kinda. That's fun.
Seriously.
You're born.
Like, hey,
when you're
here-
born, you get a clone. Here's a seed. Yeah, I'm down for that. Everybody
Here's
gets a
your-
6
here's
pack
your-
of seeds.
Here's your family heirloom shit.
Wouldn't that be better for like instead of welfare? It's like here's like 10 seeds. Fucking grow your dope, make your
That's some
money.
real welfare
You know,
right there.
I'm down for that, bro.
feel
You want
you.
to?
feel you.
That'll support a system. It's like, hey, you want money? Grow weed. That's what Washington fucking.
That's what I love about, you could take a lot of messages from the whole weed movement and industry and everything. Like, I was gonna say that earlier about Jesus and like, because like he was persecuted but he was right the whole time, and he was still persecuted on the cross and everything, and like he was preaching and he was doing good, and like I feel the same thing about weed. Like it's not anything bad. Like we're not selling crack. We're not, you know what I mean? Like or meth or something, or like heroin. It's like
Most
we're helping
potheads I
people.
know are fucking
Alcohol's
chill, cool
way
people.
worse too.
Like,
Alcohol's worse. I mean,
That's what I'm saying, it's
the beer
like-
in my hand. Like I'm gonna admit it. Like, but
if I had to choose one for the rest of my life, I would definitely choose weed just for the people that I've like met through it. It's like there's obviously dumb stoners, there's dumb everybody, but I've met more deep thinking fucking people that care, that are empathic, that smoke weed, dude. It's just like a fact. It's like it kind of opens something up in you.
well, I mean,
I feel-
fuck, then if you go on to cultivation, simple cultivation, like do your little six, like in the backyard, the best you can.
Yeah.
Like, you try to learn from your neighbors. That's what it's about too. It's like
It's like don't say fuck your neighbors. Instead of
connect-
being like fuck your neighbors, like meet your
Yeah.
neighbors and be like, look, I'm
up-
growing my
up-
6
up
plants because
north-
I care about
up
this,
north
you know?
is like, yeah, up north they got it
That's-
like that. It's
but you see what I'm
like,
saying,
they're
though?
More
It's-
of like a community, and they come together. And
Yeah.
it's agriculture. The plant. That's why I'm saying like the plant cannabis to me represents agriculture in a whole. Where it just, like I said before, like if we have an abundance in our peach tree this year, we're gonna be like, fuck, I got all these peaches, I don't know what to do with them. Here, give them to you, and you
Yeah.
do what you can with them. You eat them straight, or you make a jam, or whatever the fuck the case is, right? But that's what I think we're
It'd
kind
be
of
nice to
missing.
have
That
community
we're not,
gardens, too.
I think that's such a. It's like food. One thing, like if you understand and try to learn about the human spirit, you might understand that food is something that's really special that brings people together. So when
Saying
you're
goes
sharing
like kids that
food-
grow broccoli eat broccoli. You know what I mean?
But just
think
to
we need
come
to
in
have-
together, and when like you eat a meal with somebody at a table and you come together, it's like a really special time for people. But if you could provide that in a way where it's like, oh, this, like my neighbor gave this to me, or you yourself grew this, it's like, it's some, instead of getting it at the store and like, I don't know.
This is
man.
why
and even just
I
the
was
health
thinking,
wise
like,
looking out of it, like,
I like I think everybody, like every community should have like a community garden. You know, like we have parks.
yeah, no, I think
And just, like-
everybody should have a fucking garden.
But
at
that'll
their
help you
backyard.
that'll bring people together. You know, like here's a plot of land. Like everybody
think-
here gets like whatever, like a certain amount, like a part, and that'll bring people together. And it's like we need to
Well,
start
I
bringing people together
experimented-
to
I
fix this.
experimented with it this last spring, and I started a bunch of stuff, and I gave a lot of people away in my neighborhood. I just left it on my truck, and then like a lot of people just drove by, and I said free, take what you want, and then people took it and they went home and gardened, and like they appreciated it. A lot of my neighbors appreciated it. So like just having that availability,
that was a cool idea, dude.
Of just that simplicity of being like, oh, it's right here when I'm driving by. Oh, fucking coronavirus hit. I want to grow some fucking vegetables.
Yeah.
Oh, they're right here. Like, dude, I could just put them in my backyard and grow. Like, even if they died or even if whatever happened, like it started. That itself was a seed in the mind and the soul of the person where it's like, I want to get into this, and like
I think you helped out a lot with people, dude. Like you.
But
you
it's that simple.
Too.
So like I was saying, like yeah, community garden is great, but I think it's just like people need to be back there every day in their backyard. I feel like, you know what I mean. It's like a therapeutic thing too. So like if you could just provide a simple nursery type settings, like it works.
Just give them a start, give them a little push in the right direction. That's what we need.
For sure.
But yeah, dude.
Wrap it up, man.
I think that was perfect, dude.
All right. Cool, man. Hell yeah, appreciate it.
That's right.
Hell yeah. Good shit.